Come, whoever you are, whether you are joining us online or in person, whenever the last time you went to church, whomever you love.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cheyenne, where we are building a community of refuge, where all have equal worth and are invited into spiritual exploration as a foundation for hope, compassionate service, and action.
This is a place where questions are encouraged.
This is a place with room for all of who you are.
This is a place full of works in progress.
This is a place for being human together.
Welcome. It is good to be here.
Settle in and exhale. This is a time for community.
Good morning. I am Marcy Kindred. I am past president on the board, and I'd like to welcome you to this church where we are on this shared journey to find meaning, connection, and community together. One way we do that is through the activities and events that happen in our building and in the community beyond these walls. Let me tell you about a couple of things that are happening. We invite those concerned with our UU commitment to trust people with their own medical care, specifically by maintaining access to reproductive health care and medication abortions, to join Reverend Elizabeth and others on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. in room W006. That's on the main floor of the state capitol, to support, or no, that's not on the main floor. That's in the extension. That's right. It's in the extension. To support those speaking in favor of continued privacy and freedom of choice for pregnant people. Second, our fall equinox drum circle was wonderful, and it was a disappointment to so many that our solstice circle was canceled due to the extreme cold. Now we're asking you to come to church this Friday night and join us at 6:30 p.m. for a new monthly drum circle led by Audrey Benton. It is fun and welcoming environment for people of all ages to make joyful noise and move their energy together. We had to change the next Kamea dinner party from the 25th of February to the 4th. So we're moving it up. It's coming up soon. We will get a new sign-up sheet in the social hall, so watch for that. And then finally, you will notice our beautiful order of service covers. We're going to have seasonal, so quarterly-ish. The cardstock in color, do not throw these away. We're going to reuse them for the season, and we'll get a new one next season. So you can throw the recycle the inserts that will change every week. Perfect. There's a basket right outside these doors. So hang on to those. And what a fun addition. I love that. And now we move on to Share the Plate, which is the ministerial discretionary fund. Is that how, did I say that right?
Sure is. So hello, I'm Reverend Elizabeth Mount, and this week's Share the Plate, this month's Share the Plate is us. So each Sunday, as we gather together in person and on Zoom as a congregation, we also gather resources to sustain the work of this church. And we share that abundance with community organizations, broadening the reach of our values. 11 months out of the year, those go outward to the wider community. And 1 month in January of each year, we replenish our own funds. There are a lot of things that social services organizations do in this community, but sometimes we just have people who need to fill a gap. And the church is well situated to do that kind of frontline work, to help out when you just can't cover an unexpectedly large heating bill, or to help out because it is hard to make a name change. And sometimes people whose gender has shifted or who have left a relationship need to do that kind of thing. These kinds of expenses are things that there aren't really organizations set up to help right away. We can. And so what I'm asking from you all is to make sure that fund is abundant and ready. If you would like to give, you can find the address of the Realm app for giving online with a credit card or debit card, or through your ACH. You can also place Share the Plate offerings of check, cash in the baskets now as they pass, or to the rear of the sanctuary at the end of the service. So I thank you and hope that you will share the generosity that you have. I go among trees and sit still. All my stirring becomes quiet around me, like circles on water. My tasks lie in their places where I left them, asleep like cattle. Then what is afraid of me comes and lives a while in my sight. What it fears in me leaves me, and the fear of me leaves it. It sings, and I hear its song. Then what I am afraid of comes. I live for a while in its sight. What I fear in it leaves it, and the fear of it leaves me. It sings, and I hear its song. After days of labor, mute in my consternations, I hear my song at last, and I sing it. As we sing, the day turns, the trees move. And for our opening hymn, I invite you to open your gray hymnals, rising in body or in spirit as we join in singing our hymn number 324, Where My Free Spirit Onward Leads.
Our worship theme for the month is Journey. And I found a reading in a Taoist meditation book that I like. And I think it's about one person's journey, maybe back to themselves. It's called Skills. Zither, chess, book, painting, sword. These symbolize a classic skill. There was once a wanderer who cared nothing for fame. Although he had many chances for position, he continued to search for teachers who could help him master 5 things: zither, chess, book, painting, and sword. The zither gave him music, which expressed the soul. Chess cultivated strategy and a response to the actions of another. Books gave him academic education. Painting was the exercise of beauty and sensitivity. Sword was a means for health and defense. One day, a little boy asked the wanderer what he would do if he lost his 5 things. At first, the wanderer was frightened, but soon realized that his zither could not play itself. The chessboard was nothing without players. A book needed a reader. Brush and ink could not move on their own accord, and a sword could not be unsheathed without a hand. He realized that his cultivation was not merely for the acquisition of skills, it was a path to the innermost part of his being.
Thank you. Now, if the young or young at heart would like to join us and share in the leadership of speaking our covenant in unison. The words of our covenant may be found on the inside cover of your order of service. Lovely. Well, I'm really glad that you all have sharp ears because apparently I don't have mic. Am I good now? Thank you. All right. So let us join together in speaking the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its cause. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth, and to help others. And young folks, if you'd like to be seated, you are going to have the prime seating for a religious ritual that we have not done in a while. We're welcoming some new members, so if the Solis family would like to join us on the chancel. Yes. Along with Elaine Hayes, our board president, and Camille Fertney, who is our membership chair. Yeah, come on up. You can come right up here where we've got all of our papers. So we are inviting the Solis family to join us at the pulpit to sign our membership book as they offer of their time and their trust, their talents and gifts their resources as part of the shared responsibility of becoming stewards with us of this congregation. So we're going to ask you to begin as new members, speaking your part and then signing the book. You can do it in unison if you really want the challenge, or you can each do your own. All right.
Today, I join with this congregation, holding hope in my heart and pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this church. Ooh.
There we
I
go.
covenant to remain true to the spirit of love, which centers and guides our congregation and myself. May I find welcome here as I join you on this journey of faith.
We can do that part after. Yeah, we don't need your email address right now. Thank you.
Okay, so today I join with this congregation, holding hope in my heart and pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this church. I covenant to remain true to the spirit of love, which centers and guides our congregation and myself. May I find welcome here as I join you on this journey of faith. I'll sign our name legibly since Mike did not.
That's totally fine. Yours. And like,
We welcome you as we were once welcome ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent worth and dignity, accompanying you in your search for truth and meaning, opening our hearts to your wisdom, both when it is easy and in times when it is difficult.
We seek to be supportive, not only when you reach out in courage to us, but also when you need us to reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals.
and then our dear congregation, if you would open your orders of service and flip that page over, there is a covenant from you to the Solis family as well. We'll speak that together. We choose to offer our best selves to this new relationship and to be with you in love, for love is the spirit of this church. And when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us, to share in the responsibility of building and rebuilding trust so that we may create the beloved community together. We welcome you as an equal member of this congregation, this faith, and of our shared spiritual journey. So welcome to this community, which is ever changing and made better by your presence, all of you. As each member before you has also become a part of this kaleidoscopic beauty of multitudes and diversity, thank you for the gift of your presence and for your commitment. So when new babies are dedicated in the UU Church, we offer them a rose without thorns as a symbol of the beauty that we wish for them in life, a symbol of soft and tender care. And we touch them with water from our water ceremony, symbol of our shared and flowing journey together, of the care and nourishment found in community, as we covenant to sustain their growth in this faith. So today, as new members, we would like to give you roses, and Camille, I think, will hand them out. These roses do have thorns, not because we wish you harm, but because, like our teens when they finish coming of age, we believe in your responsibility and maturity to take care with things in their whole and complex ways of being, and to know that any community comes with some prickles as well as deep beauty. A wise friend once told me, Joining Unitarian Universalism is easy, but staying a UU after the first time that your community truly disappoints you is the real test of our shared faith. So in this moment, with these roses, we commit ourselves to being in relationship with you through that time as well. And we hope you will continue to be with us to let us know as well if you need a Band-Aid or an apology or outreach to continue on this journey with us. So blessings on your journey and ours. We are grateful to share it with you. And now we'll let you all go, except for the kiddos who get to hear the story of Pando. Yeah. All right. Did y'all want to be any closer? Here, I'm going to make a space right here. So I see the plants are very exciting today. It's true. So I have a question for everybody in the room. Does anybody know what Pando is? What do you think?
That plant in the new movie that just came out.
Ooh, I have not seen this new movie, but you might be right or very close, because Pando is the name of the largest grove of aspen trees in the whole world. So it is a plant. Pando is a multi-tree organism. Did you all know that whenever you go into a grove of aspen trees, even though it looks like lots and lots of separate trees, they're all connected by a single root system. So they're really one organism with hundreds or thousands of trees connected together. Yeah. So Pando has been growing in central Utah near a place called Fish Lake. And how old do you think Pando might be? Ooh, more than that. More than 1,000.
100 years old, probably.
So this is an interesting thing because each of the individual trees in Pando is probably no more than 130 years old. But Pando itself, that organism has been growing for about 18,000 years since the end of the last ice age. And it's a fascinating thing to me. Pando currently contains about 40,000 trees spread over 106 acres. For any of you who like measuring size that way. And it's about 13 million pounds of biomass. So anybody who's thinking you're overweight, Pando's got you beat by millions. So one of the things that makes me go, wow, I need to tell people about this cool tree system is that for me, Pando feels like church. Can anybody think of why that might be? How many people are part of a church? Do we know how many people are part of our church?
Probably at least more than 15.
Definitely more than 15. Yeah, if we started counting right here in this room, we'd get more than 15. And what age is a church with all those people in it?
100 years old.
Maybe. Who do you think is the youngest person in this church?
Probably some baby.
There's probably some baby. Yeah. What do you think?
I think I'm the oldest in the church.
You think you're the oldest? Maybe. How old are you?
12.
12? I bet you could be the oldest in this church if you live for a while more.
I will live for a while more. No one can stop me,
All right.
except for my mom. Who is the worst?
Maybe. But I think even in this room, definitely in this church system, we have people who are almost 100 years old.
What?
Yeah. So there's people of a lot of different ages in this church. And I bet somebody out there can tell me, how old is this church? About 55, 60. Yeah, we were founded in, anybody remember?
It's been here forever.
We've been here forever. Well, so that's an interesting thing because this building was built at a different time than our congregation was founded, and we moved into it in 1990. But Unitarian Universalism has been around in a lot of different forms for almost 2,000 years. The first Unitarian was writing around 400 AD. The first Universalist, Origen, was writing about 200 AD. And people have come up with these ideas and formed churches around it for a while. So that makes me think of that root system below the ground. That's actually the basis of Pando. That's been around a long time, putting up different shoots whenever there's enough sunlight, moving toward water by growing new trees in a particular direction, moving uphill or downhill when it's too warm or too cold. And so I wanted to share about the story of Pando because I think it's a really good way to think about our congregation. We have this root structure. We nourish it with our money, our time, our energy. Every time somebody makes a pot of coffee, they're helping build that little root structure, helping us reach out to one another in community. And so my wondering question is, what does it feel like to know you're part of a system, kind of like Pando, to know that you are part of that long history of growth and community?
We go to a school of over 100 kids.
Yeah, you have a school of over 100 kids. That's another rooting system for
I
growth.
go there. I go to
Yeah.
Pioneer Park too. So it's like
Yeah.
100 kids there.
So as we return to our seats, I think everyone can think about how you're connected, what part you might play in that greater web, and how this congregation helps us to grow.
Mhm.
Thank you all so much for talking with me about this Aspen Grove. Now, if you will join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation, spirit of life and of love. Each week, we gather to be with one another, to support each other in joy and sorrow, in times of celebration and moments of grief, and to dwell together in the wonder and mystery of this magnificent, ever-changing life. So today, may we center our minds. May we open our hearts. And may our prayers reach out in community to all people, be they trans or pregnant or in need of health care or so many things. All those people for whom the current legislative session holds urgent and real questions about their survival, their care, and their growth. May we hold each of these people in our compassion and know that they are a motivation for us to care for all who need our help. May we join together in the great joy that Chuck and Jen and Pedro and Audrey and West and Lori were all able to serve at Comea this past weekend, offering food and fellowship to 57 guests eating together. May we give thanks for action that makes the lives of people better and more whole. And may we acknowledge that season of cold and of beauty as the earth continues to turn, the snows continue to come, and the blue sky and the sun warm our hearts and our bodies. May we hold room in our hearts for joys yet unshared and sorrows too tender to speak aloud. May we find space for peace and comfort and a community that roots us together. Amen, and blessed be.
You'll note in the order of service that Reverend Elizabeth is the one, she sourced the aspen leaf in the Windless World, a little preface. It calls to mind the aspen groves that I know about at Vitavu, specifically for those of you that are familiar with Turtle Rock Trail. If you go to the west entrance to that, there's a wonderful bunch of aspens that's what it calls to mind for me. So feel free to close your eyes if you want to picture images. This is a journey around some of the world. So also, I want to forewarn you, there's a pretty interesting, at least it was to me, phrase in here. It's called a bow crotch, right? That's a tree, I think. God, I hope. It's the tree. It's where branches, and there's that where you can get stuck, right? Or climb up in the tree. So it just has an interesting aspen leaf in windless world. Watch how the aspen leaf, pale and windless, waggles, while one white cloud loiters motionless over Wyoming. And think how delicately the heart may flutter in the windless joy of unworded revelation. Look how the sea foam, white, makes its Arabic scrawl on the unruffled sand of the beach's faint tilted plain. Is there a message there for you to decipher, or only the joy of its sunlit intricacy? Is there a sign truth gives that we recognize? Can we fix our eyes on the flight of birds for answer? Can the bloody-armed augurs declare expediency? What does dew on stretched wool fleece, the grass dry, mean? Have you stood on the night lawn in the blackness of oaks and heard from bow crotch to bow crotch the moon-eyed tree toad utter again and again that quavery croak, and asked if it means there'll be rain toward dawn or early tomorrow? We were not by when Aaron laid down his rod that suddenly twisted, went scaly, and heaved the fanged head. And when Egypt's high magi probed their own lore for the trick, well, the sacred serpent devoured that brood. What then would you've made of that? Yes, we wander our world of miracles, whispers, hijinks, and metaphor. Yes, why is the wind in the cedar the sub-sob of grief? And the puppy, why is his tongue on your palm so sweet?
And I invite you to rise in body or in spirit for a short interlude hymn. It's number 4, I Brought My Spirit to the Sea. And I think we'll just sing verses 3 and 4 so that we're not here until the coffee goes cold. My spirit to the tree. missing pages. So in our Time for All Ages, we talked a bit about Pando. I will just tell you that Pando continues to be one of my favorite organisms on this planet. I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating not simply because I'm a tree hugger, though I am, and I really like aspen trees, but as a metaphor for community. In Emergent Strategy, the author Adrienne Marie Brown speaks to the ways that forms of collective life can teach us as humans about building our own communities. Things like mycelium, fungi, bacterial colonies, which you might use as scobies or yogurt cultures, and many other kinds of repeating organisms. And we often think of repeating organisms as very simple bacterial colonies or an algae, a yeast. But Pando is a complex life form. And like any aspen grove, it's many trees, but trees that fundamentally share genetics. They're clonal organisms. And so they go beyond just being trees in a forest that happen to communicate. Some of you may have read about the hidden lives of trees. There's a book that talks about how trees in a forest intermingle their root systems and can draw wisdom from one another, knowing when predators are coming from even a couple of miles away, predators for them being deer or elk herds, and trees will be able to turn their leaves bitter in preparation for the approach of something that might want to eat them. But with a clonal organism, it's not about the survival of a single tree. It's not about growing huge. You'll notice that there aren't aspen trees that are, that you can't get your arms around. Most aspen trees, they live about 130 years, and they might have a 6-inch to 8-inch diameter mostly, though some can grow bigger. They're not looking to become the best tree in the forest. They're not in competition with one another. Instead, they're building a thriving organism, striving for a diversity that maximizes many opportunities, some growing upward to get energy from the sun, some growing in tiny sprouts outward, seeking to get closer to a river or to a side of the forest where there is space for just a little bit of gathering light or a new soil that might be more productive. They're working for all, the young, the old. They continue to nourish the stumps of fallen elder trees in wisdom. And so, thinking about this, I think about our own congregations, how we nourish one another with stories of the past, with new and interesting information that comes in. Have you read this book? Have you seen this new movie? I think about the ways that we care for one another with pastoral cards or potlucks, sending our time, our energy, our money outward to nourish a larger community that can sustain our own. As humans, we are blessed with the imagination to lie down amongst the trees and put ourselves in their place and wonder what we might find if we too rooted ourselves immovably in our communities. And we find perhaps the holy, the divine in that space between. We come from a heritage that does this, the transcendentalists who found God rooted in the natural world, in the ways that creatures, great and small, that trees and animals found themselves as part of a greater design. Today, religious naturalists continue that work within and beyond Unitarian Universalism, seeing nature not as a reflection of God, but as the miracle itself, with or without God, inherently worthy of our attention and care, as teachers of something that is worth us learning. And so, when I think about journey, I also think about rootedness. What does it mean to journey with a community? What does it mean to be on a path together? To know that we travel as one, or that others travel for us and bring back wisdom and nourishment. Those below ground structures, the ways that the trees focus sending energy out to the young for new growth. How does that inform the ways that we do religious education, the ways that we involve and raise our children, ask our teens to become members with us, offer wisdom, and accept their new learning? The U.S. Forest Service invites you, take some time this year during the spring, summer, or fall, and visit an aspen stand in one of our Western national forests. Find a sunny spot, lay or sit down on the ground, and listen to the trees whisper to one another as they make their quaking sound. The soft whispering rustle of a quaking aspen is unlike the sound of any other tree in the forest. Poetic for a government website. But the magic of trees, I invite you as well to see, to notice, and to let trees be wise teachers of humanity. And so, as we leave this space today, I hope that we will remember Pando, twice as long-lived as all the written history of Judaism, 9 times more long-lived than Christianity, not because it has refused evolution or transformation, but because it has prioritized the work of community. So may we listen to trees, feel their wisdom, and pause on our own journey to honor the groundedness of others. And I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit to join us in singing hymn number 1068, The Rising Green. I think we're just going to do verses 1 and 4. We'll extinguish our chalice flame, speaking together the words in our order of service.
We
Distinguish this chalice,
but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry within our hearts
until we are together again. Close with words from Edward Abbey. May your trails be crooked, winding, lonesome, dangerous, leading to the most amazing view. May your mountains rise into and above the clouds. May your rivers flow without end, meandering through pastoral valleys, tinkling with bells. Where bars of sunlight blaze on profiled cliffs, where deer walk across the white sand beaches, where something strange, more beautiful, and more full of wonder than your deepest dreams waits for you beyond that next turning of the canyon walls. Until we are together again, may you find wonder on your way.